It's Wednesday, January 11th. This is The Gateway. I'm Wayne Pratt. Dr. Kanika Cunningham started leading St. Louis County's Public Health Department this month. The St. Louis native says she wants to address addiction and sexually transmitted diseases as the department continues to monitor coronavirus.
So yes, we have the pandemic, we have COVID-19, but we have all of those other health issues that's important to the health and well-being of families, not just an individual person.
The primary care physician discusses her plans with St. Louis Public Radio's Sarah Fenton in just a few minutes. A relative newcomer to the St. Louis County Council will be its chair for the 2023 legislative session. St. Louis Public Radio's Rachel Littman has more on the selection of Shalonda Webb.
Despite past divisions, the council's 4 Democrats united to support Webb, who was elected to represent the 4th District in 2020. She replaces Rita Days, who presided over 2 years of often tumultuous meetings. Webb will have to lead the council as it tackles complex issues, including an uncertain budget situation. She is pledging to work cooperatively with her fellow council members, as well as County Executive Sam Page.
Our constituents deserve this. They have sent us here to work on their behalf, and it's time that we get it right.
Mark Harder, a Republican from Baldwin and the council's longest-serving member, was elected vice chair. I'm Rachel Littman, St. Louis Public Radio.
St. Louis County's elected officials have been sworn in for 4-year terms. They took the oath of offices yesterday following 2 years of disagreements between County Executive Sam Page and a majority of council members. Councilman Dennis Hancock says policymakers must work together over the next few years to deal with the area's challenges.
We have children in our region who go to sleep to the sound of gunfire in their neighborhoods. We have businesses that are still trying to recover from the impact of the pandemic. But first and foremost, we have a systemic budget deficit that has to be resolved.
Page and council members will also decide how to spend money from the St. Louis Rams departure settlement. Some students in Missouri are still learning virtually 3 years after the pandemic drove them to online classes. Jody Fortino reports.
Nearly 4,000 students take all of their classes online through the Missouri Course Access and Virtual School program. The program's latest report found its students scored lower than their peers in brick-and-mortar schools. Charlie Shields is the State Board of Education's president. He says virtual students often come in with health challenges or other academic barriers.
That's the problem that we have, because every one of these students comes from a different situation and we don't know where they were at before, and they may have made significant improvements.
There are fewer full-time virtual students than at the height of the pandemic, but course enrollment is up. I'm Jody Fortino.
Illinois is the 9th state with an assault weapons ban. Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the measure banning guns already considered assault weapons and those that can be modified to become one. He says counties who oppose the measure will eventually follow the new law.
The state police is responsible for enforcement, as are all law enforcement all across this state, and they will, in fact, do their job or they won't be in their job.
Gun dealers can sell existing stock to out-of-state people or businesses, and they can still sell assault weapons to law enforcement or the military. Rifle magazines larger than 10 rounds and pistol magazines larger than 15 are banned, along with rapid-fire devices known as switches. Pritzker is expected to sign a measure offering protections for out-of-state patients who come to Illinois for abortion and gender-affirming care. It blocks states that outlaw abortion care from prosecuting and extraditing people. The bill also mandates health insurance companies to fully cover drugs used in abortion procedures, gender-affirming care, and HIV treatment. Republicans are calling the measure immoral. St. Louis County has a new health director. Dr. Kanika Cunningham started this month. She spoke with St. Louis Public Radio's Sarah Fenton about how her experience as a primary care physician at a community health clinic is affecting her plans to address drug addiction, STDs, and COVID-19.
People need that compassionate care, thinking about the social determinants of health and not just only focusing on that one aspect, that problem list, that medication list, but, the access to housing and food and, getting the bills paid, the gas, electricity, all of that actually goes into health, believe it or not. And what the pandemic showed me as I was taking care of patients, that was huge. If I didn't address those or acknowledge in some form, what's going on in someone's social life with that, is huge. And one last thing too, I have to acknowledge the burnout factor among clinical staff, but also among public health departments. So one thing internally, I do want to make sure that I have a focus on workforce investment and development, because our staff are burned out. And I see, like, my first, coming in as public health officer is like, I picked up on that, at the clinic where I came from. Folks are just burned out. And so I want to acknowledge that, but then also create the space that I can continue to show value and to help grow and develop the staff that's working, for me here.
A lot of the work you did before you got here was treating patients with addiction. Yeah. As somebody who has experience in that field, what do you think the county should be doing?
Taking a big picture, we all need to work together for this. I think some people focus on, treatment only and not recognize the individual, in which there are some people who may want to continue to use. We do know that this is a chronic disease, and it may take someone 3, 4, 5, 6 times before they can achieve what they say is recovery in their eyes. We need to, not only give Narcan out and talk about treatment, increase access to treatment, but also incorporate harm reduction principles, meeting people where they are for somebody who continue to use.
How much does the county health department work with Dr. Fleshwile Davis at the city health department? I know during the pandemic, those two departments teamed up a lot. Do you think that tradition will continue even as we move out of the pandemic in the future?
So one thing, we're actually good friends in real life. And I think with the pandemic, we show that, when both of us come together for the sake of the community, that look at the great things that we can do together as health departments, but then also just being real people living in a community and, wanting to help our community.
I'm going to stay on the topic of the pandemic. How has the game plan changed, or has it changed when it comes to public health orders, mitigating spread, that kind of thing?
So I don't foresee us making any significant, changes with how we approach it. We're still going to keep this and make this a priority to address it, because, we're coming up on this 3rd, anniversary, but it's still present. We're not completely out of this just yet. It's not anything that we can, completely put in history books. We're still in the midst of it. And so my hope is for my health department to continue to remain a leader in the region with bringing evidence-based, information and data to the forefront to help protect our community. Yes, we have COVID. We have mpox, but you have to think about our other STIs, gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, congenital syphilis, that came up as well. We have influenza, RSV. So we have other emerging infectious diseases that we need to continue to monitor. Sexual health is really important. I think other things we have to think about our pregnant moms and our babies. So yes, we have the pandemic, we have COVID-19, but we have all of those other health issues that's important to the health and well-being of families, not just an individual person.
That was St. Louis County Health Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham speaking with St. Louis Public Radio's Sarah Fenton. Our David Casares edited that report. The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.